Right, yes. To move on to another film that's been getting a lot of plaudits. Very, very different this time, and that's Kenneth Branagh's Belfast.
Yes, Ken Branagh's latest film as a writer and director is Belfast, set in, checks notes, Belfast, Northern Ireland, 1969, and while it's not exactly autobiographical, it's certainly drawing heavily from his own experience as a lad during the Troubles, surely the most British way to describe what's effectively a civil war. It's told through the eyes of Jude Hill's buddy, a 9-year-old in a working-class Protestant family. His father, Jamie Dornan's pa, works in the building trade in England to pay off a swinging tax bill, leaving his wife, Katrina Balf's ma, to raise buddy, and elder brother, Lewis Miscaski's will, variously helped and or hindered by Judi Dench's granny and Kyron Hines' pop, Buddy's grandfather. For a while at least, Buddy's life and worries seem broadly in line with what you'd expect for a kid of his age, getting swept up in his friend Lara McDonald's Moira's petty sweet shop theft schemes, struggling with his studies and being alternately bored and terrified by ranting preachers, and trying to get his crush, Olive Tennant's Catherine, to notice him, all of which is very charmingly told. Less charming, of course, is rampant sectarianism, as a bunch of knuckle-dragging jagasses decide that Catholics are no longer welcome in majority Protestant areas and start to enforce that through violence, here mostly embodied through Colin Morgan's Billy Clanton, who seeks to involve Buddy's father into violence. This is a fault line through which the other problems that the working-class, poorer families of the era and location must struggle with, be that poor health, lack of prospects, or the heavy-handed authority of the British Army that's drafted them to police the place, doing as sensitive a job of it as you'd expect from the British Army in that sort of role, leading to the family's decision to leave Belfast, as so many others did. Well, there's no shortage of darker themes and moments in Belfast. The framing of it through Buddy's experience makes for a perhaps surprisingly upbeat and very funny movie, while not minimising or excusing the behaviour of those involved, which is a pretty delicate balancing act, which Branagh's made look easy. Just about the only thing Belfast does that I'm not a massive fan of is the occasional use of colour in what's otherwise a black and white presentation. I get the intent, but it's such an unsubtle technique in an otherwise surprisingly subtle story that is jarring rather than charming. Could also have done without Van Morrison's stylings, though, giving his recent behaviour, but hindsight's 2020, I suppose. But that colour niggle aside, it looks great, has a clutch of great actors acting greatly, has charm to spare, and has a funny, warm, empathetic look at a period that I feel really ought to come under more examination. Yes, heartily enjoyed this. Highest recommendation I can come up with, really.
Yes, largely on board with what you say. Before we go on, though, and while I suspect I can guess, what's the current stylings of Van Morrison issue?
Oh, he doesn't like lockdowns, or any of that stuff. Yeah, he's a bit of a COVID denier.
So he doesn't care about other people's welfare.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
He's happy for other people to die. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's never the people themselves, is it? There's never natural justice in the world. I certainly didn't care much for the colour bits. The transition from like contemporary colour to 1969 black and white over that wall at the beginning, I actually really liked.
Yeah.
And that was a nice transition. But the few bits later, mostly in the cinema, and then one bit of the play later on, it's you're right, Scott. It's very much not subtle. And the intent is clear. Like, this is like sort of one bit is out of their world, it's sort of magical or different, and sort of away from the kind of day-to-day misery of the place or the sort of prevailing mood at the time. But it's not subtle.
No, not at all.
No, and I don't think it was necessary. I think you get that when the kid and Judi Dench are sitting talking through the film and she's asking all these questions and stuff, or like she's presumably not been to the theatre before and she's talking to him, like. But at the same time, you get like, yeah, they're not experiencing the other miserable stuff just now. Okay, it didn't need the colour, but minor issue. What I will say is, I got to the end of this, and I'd laughed a few times. I'd enjoyed it. And I was like, I found myself thinking, like, I'm not sure if I enjoyed that. While the tears were pouring down my cheeks, like, I think I did. I think it affected me. What am I doing? Wake up, brains, like. Because there's some like generally like heartbreaking moments in it too. Just in terms of not that anything bad actually happens to Buddy. It's more just like the things that are happening around this child and the things this child is witnessing, and that's just always wrong. And get to the end of the film, tears pouring down my cheeks. Wake up, Egypt. I did like to. It's got. I think a lot of people are aware of this, but for all the, and maybe because of the things that have happened in Belfast for many decades now. The sense of humour of the people of Belfast is so black. And I love that kind of sense of humour, and you can understand where it's come from, but it's a particularly dark sense of humour there, and there's quite a lot of that through the film.
Yeah.
There's not just general humour and congeniality in any, but there's real touches of really dark humour in there that I really like. And some sort of slightly absurdist stuff which really just tickles me too. Like the kids Buddy's encouraged to go and rob from a store that's been looted.
Yeah.
And
I laugh so much.
Yeah, he's standing on the doorstep and his mum's behind. Like, why did you steal that? Why did you take that washing powder? Why did you take the washing powder? And he just looks out and goes, it's biological. Oh, that cracked me up so much. Yeah, it's a really charming film. And Scott, here's the thing. It's a really well told story. It's complete and is only 97 minutes long.
Yeah.
That's called foreshadowing, folks. Yeah, it's great. Watch it. Lovely film.
Yes.
Although it was obviously missing Kenneth Branagh unnecessarily being Russian.
As all films have. Should really be in every film.